The lowest layer in the ocean with no penetration of light yet possesses a variety of copious ecosystems. It's the deep sea that starts from 200 meters in depth. The biodiversity here is surviving remarkably, though enveloped in the pitch-dark waters of the ocean. The majority of the creatures of the deep sea survive by producing light by themselves, and this process is called bioluminescence. These creatures have longer lifespans as compared to the creatures of shallow waters. The deep sea is one of the loneliest places in the ocean. The existence here is scanty. A serious crisis can make viability strenuous, but not out of question. There is very little knowledge about the existence in the deep sea. Nearly every single trip unearths a fresh discovery. The deep sea of the Arctic and Antarctic has a never-ending line of species that has adjusted itself appreciably to existence in these frozen and dark environments. We're gonna take a tour of these colossal critters that have been surviving underneath the deep ice for ages. The frigid zones. The frigid zones encircle the north and south poles of the Earth. They're most commonly known as polar regions. The area that surrounds the North Pole is the Arctic, and the area that surrounds the South Pole is the Antarctic. These frigid zones have particular climates. Due to the penetration of less concentrated sunlight as compared to the rest of the area of Earth, these regions are the coldest. During summers in the Arctic, the temperature reaches 0 degrees Celsius, and in winters the temperature reaches minus 40 degrees Celsius. There is a place that is colder than the Arctic. It's called Antarctica. The temperature here in winters reaches minus 60 degrees Celsius, and in summers the temperature is minus 28.2 degrees Celsius. Lives at the poles. Human life at the poles is impossible because the temperature there is unbearable for humans. Thus, some terrestrial animals and aquatic animals can live on the poles. The North Pole is present at the center of the Arctic Ocean, and this part is most of the time masked with ice. The ice is 6 to 10 feet in depth. The Arctic Ocean is 4,000 meters deep. In actual fact, the South Pole witnesses only one sunset and one sunrise in a year. That's why life at the poles is uncommonly tough. Winters are extremely long and cold, causing intense winds that last all over the region. Sea ice. The sea ice extends to the edge of the ocean. This sea ice is very crucial for the maintenance of the temperature of the globe. It acts as an insulator between the warm air and the ocean water. The sea ice reflects back more sunlight to the highest latitude, keeping the temperatures of the frigid zones cooler. If the sea ice is not present on the surface of the ocean, then it would be warmed by directly absorbing the sunlight, which will cause destruction to every living thing on the Earth. Life on the icy barren land. Sea ice is also important for the organisms that survive on the surface of frigid zones. These regions seem to be deserted, still hosting a huge variety of wildlife beneath the ice and above the ice. At the North Pole, walruses and polar bears are dependent on the sea ice for hunting for food, raising the young ones, and relocating. Due to diminished wrapping and density of sea ice, these species are facing the ultimatum of reduced birth rates. At the South Pole also, the sea ice plays an important role for animals like penguins and pinnipeds. They reproduce and nurture their offspring on the hefty deck. Nonetheless, there is a varied assortment of microorganisms and invertebrates that live their lives on the sea ice. Underneath the bed of ice. The upper side of the ice seems like a soft smoothie, but the bottom of the ice is very rough. It's a perforated passage and has spaces, which is the reason for the bumpy ground. These passages are formed when the chunks of salt vanish from the ice pieces and become the ideal domain for microorganisms. The bacteria and algae perform photosynthesis in the spring season to sprout and convert into a source of food for species there. It has some holes that allow bigger species to move freely. Small crustaceans, amphipods, and small worms use this algae bed upside down. Krill eats the sea ice algae and other microalgae. Krill is known as the cornerstone species because it's the base of the total food web of the Antarctic Ocean. There's a bulk of food present beneath the ice. Giant isopod. Bathynomus giganteus. Giant isopod is found in the jet black environment of the bathyal zone of the ocean. It's a zone with lower temperatures and higher pressure. They're present in the pitched and intense waters of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. Having beast-like looks, giant isopod can survive smoothly in the deep sea, where there is not a single ray of light. Giant isopods are distantly related to the pill bugs, but obviously bigger than them. they can easily be found on your lawn. They can survive 600 meters or lower than the ocean bed. They eat the food that falls from the near surface area because the floor of the ocean is unfertile. It's said that giant isopods have a large receiver that helps them to move in no light. Also, they have bigger eyes compared to their bodies. Anglerfish. Found in the midnight zone, the anglerfish has unique features. As it lives in an area where no sunlight can enter, it's given a huge bioluminescent temperature to catch the prey in blackness, meaning that this fish produces its own light. This light is produced with the help of bacteria, which is produced in the sea. It has extra sharp pellucid teeth used for catching food efficiently. Anglerfish live in the bleak domain, the sunless depth of the ocean. It lives in the leaden abyss of the Atlantic and Antarctic oceans, but some of the anglerfishes live in less dense areas. The male anglerfish is usually smaller in size than the female anglerfish. It can be found 1,035 meters deep in the ocean. Orange Ruffy. Orange Ruffy can live up to 1,700 meters deep in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. This fish has a very slow process of growing. Initially, it has an orange-red color, but as soon as it dies, the color is changed into orangish yellow. Orange Ruffy is well known for its lifespan. Orange Ruffy can survive more than 200 years, bearing all the extremities of the deep sea. It's not a long and thin-bodied fish, rather it's a round-headed fish. Orange Ruffy is found about 1,900 meters beneath the surface. It grows and matures inactively as compared to the non-deep sea creatures. It's not fertile before 20 years, and they can live up to 145 years. Orange Ruffy had been largely used as a food item. The decline in the stock was shocking, but then it was founded that it cannot lay eggs before 20 years. The scientists suggested the limited use of this fish for a while. Goblin shark. Sometimes described as the living fossils, goblin sharks are the sole extant members of a 125 million years old ancestry. The goblin shark is one of the infrequent members of the deep sea. This pink-colored mammal has a striking appearance that includes an enormous shallow nose and strongly protruding fangs with conspicuous thorn-like canines. When it grows, it's normally 3 to 4 meters big in size. It can also develop bigger than this size, up to 6 meters. It has a broad, sharp, blade-like nose. With aging, the relative size of the nose diminishes. Dragonfishes and rat tails are the food of goblin sharks. Debris was also found in the bellies of some goblin sharks. It's confirmed that the goblin sharks hunt for their prey above the bottom of the ocean. The predators appear much weirder out in the depths. Fins and fangs amid the void's everlasting darkness, a goblin shark. It can detect food at night and understands how and when to use it. They have the quickest jaws sped to catch the prey, 10 feet per second. They are so fast that we cannot see them until it's a slow-motion video. Its mouth swings like an old weapon catapult. Six-gill shark. Six-gill shark has the ability to move from the deep sea to shallow waters. It keeps moving. At the night, it roams in the dark sea, and during the daytime, it sinks upwards to the shallow waters. This shark is common all across the globe. Conclusion. All in all, the deep sea is a place that is unexposed. The creatures found in the deep sea are rich in oxygen, unlike the exposed creatures. But still, humans have proved to be cruel for that life too. Human activities are destroying their habitat. Global warming can be proved as a murderer of these old ecosystems in the near future. Life in Polar Deep can face a harsh future due to foolish human activities. We might lose one of the ocean's top secrets before knowing its significance. With this, we'd like to end this video with the hope that you liked and enjoyed it. If you liked our content, make sure that you like our video and do share your views and opinions with us in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel to receive regular videos from us, and don't forget to click the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe guys, and peace out.